I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. It's Sunday morning. You're home on Facebook. There's a live video that pops up. You see an altar, candles, and a man who steps up to the piano. He motions a thumbs up to the person behind the camera, and then starts playing. For a lot of people, this is church during a quarantine. Specifically, this is Trinity Episcopal Church.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome home. Every Sunday we say, wherever you find yourself, and today I'll insert literally as well as spiritually. Know that you are welcome and wanted in this place.
It may seem strange, but for Trinity Episcopal Church, it's the new normal.
Our rector, Lisa, and our music director, and several of our choir members essentially do a worship service to an empty sanctuary.
That's Heather Meyer, who, as the Director of Operations and Community Development at Trinity, has had to deal with more than just the Sunday church services. There's also the morning breakfast program that they offer to the community in downtown Toledo. That's had to be served outdoors in to-go boxes. There's also the AA meetings that were being held at the church. Just like the Sunday morning services, those are now held online.
But that was a decision that the AA organizers came to. We felt that that was the one piece we had to stay open for as long as we could, to be that for our brothers and sisters in recovery.
Chris Hanley, the pastor of Glenwood Lutheran Church, is experiencing the same thing, as he has also had to shift services and programs online.
And that's been hard. I resist going on Facebook and, resist as much screen time as I can, because I think the body is such an important part of communicating. But along with a lot of my colleagues, all over the place, we've been learning how to do this and trying to stay connected.
Staying connected, an important phrase for a church and its community. Oddly enough, during a time when a church cannot meet face-to-face, Heather feels like she is far more connected to the staff and the congregants during this time.
Conference calls, texting, emails, phone calls. We are probably a better connected staff right now. Everything is so much more intentional. And that is also how it is going for our parishioners as well. We've had to be very intentional with staying connected to them in our time apart. How can we feed the people and starve the virus? It is something that we have said from day one. How can we be together at this time apart? How do we repair the breach? How do we plant seeds of hope? All of those things. And I think we as a people got very relaxed being intentional. And now it's an all new ballgame.
Easter, which is just around the corner, will also be a whole new ballgame. It's a hectic season for a church, much like Christmas, where each congregation hopes to capture themes of loss and darkness on Good Friday and redemption and victory on Easter morning. At the time of our interviews, both Heather and Chris were still trying to figure out exactly how to celebrate Easter during a time of quarantine. It seems Trinity Episcopal will remain online, while Glenwood Lutheran will actually move their Easter celebrations to a time where the congregation can meet face-to-face.
That just as the church is not a building, it's in the Lutheran tradition, it's the people who assemble and hear the word and share the sacrament. Easter's not the date, it's the celebration of what God has done and is doing.
Whether churches are meeting online or moving their celebrations back on the calendar, this ongoing quarantine has given new perspective for this season, but also for the seasons ahead.
The season of Lent is precisely a season in which the Christian community has always intentionally withheld things or sort of paid closer attention to the things that we long for. So it feels like every time I read a word as either part of our liturgy, it feels deeper right now. The words seem more significant.
Holy Week especially is my favorite week in the Christian calendar. With that, it's always been with community. And that is a part that I'm mourning right now and feeling sad that I don't have that to lean into. And it will be interesting to see how this is going to change forever, perhaps how many of us look at these calendar events.
I think everyone in our community is gaining a new perspective, looking at life and relationships in a new way, waiting to meet up again with your friends after not being able to go out to dinner with them, family members that you can't see face to face, maybe even coworkers you took for granted and now desperately miss. Life after quarantine could feel like a new birth after a time of darkness, like Easter after Good Friday.
When I think about what it will be like to be safe again, to be able to be with each other, to be in community again, that for me is going to be so joyful. And that I think is what we're experiencing when we're really celebrating Easter.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.